All right. Well, welcome to Age Smart. We are excited to be here tonight to talk to you about making Anchorage a more age-friendly community. My name is Teresa Holt. I'm the State Director for AARP Alaska. I have been at AARP for about 3.5 years now. And before I started, I really thought all AARP was discounts and you get a little card. They sold insurance. I didn't really understand all the things that AARP does. Well, this is one of the things that AARP does, which is make change in a community so that people who are seniors can choose how they live as they age. So we're going to talk a little bit about age-friendly communities, which is sort of the name of what we're looking at. And I have with me here tonight Madeline Holdorf, who's our state president, Mary Dean Broussard, who is on our age-friendly leadership team, and Katie Severin, who is staff at the AARP office. Katie, can you bring up the slides?
Sure, give me just a moment.
Okay. So while I'm waiting for Katie to bring up the slides, why this is so important really is that the world's population is aging, and Alaska is not an exception to this. Exception to this. By 2035, you can go to the next slide, Katie. By 2035, there will be, for the first time ever in history, more people over the age of 65 than there are children. This is a map you can see here of the percent of 50 plus in Alaska. Looks like Southeast has a pretty high concentration. Anchorage is around 25% of our population are seniors. You can see this in a lot of different ways. For example, the commercials on TV have changed. A lot of the commercials are for medications. If you look at the fashions, they're fashions for older folks. My favorite commercial is the Subaru commercial where the older adults are out doing things and the daughter is online talking about how many friends she has. Next slide. So AARP did a survey of seniors in Alaska, and these are the issues that are the most important: healthcare, economics and financial security, and independent living and long-term care. You can see under healthcare, 93% are concerned and want to stay mentally sharp. 92% want to stay physically healthy. Those are really the top two in that category. I'll let you read the other ones. Under financial security, having enough income to retire, 88% said that was important. Protection against unfair financial practices, 77%, and right next to that is Social Security benefits being available in the future. Those are all things that AARP works on both at the national level and we look at here in the state office. Independent living, caring for a loved one is a concern, getting the places you need to go independently, and having high quality long-term care in your community. Next slide. I have all the data slides. So in 2021, the Anchorage Economic Development Corporation also did a survey of seniors. And one of the questions that they said is, what is the most important factor that would make you stay in Anchorage? And 60% said availability of healthcare, that they own their own home, 59%. And then in the 40s, we have a sense of community, low taxes, recreation options, and proximity to family. So those are all, we know those are all important things for seniors to stay in Anchorage. But why is that important? Next slide, Katie. So in 2018, AARP did a study called the Longevity Economy Outlook. And they looked at how much money in each state is attributed to seniors, either seniors, spending, directly spending, or care for seniors, or the volunteer contributions that seniors provide for the communities. And in Alaska, it turns out that 58%, 58 cents on the dollar, or 58% of the funds in Alaska can be attributed to seniors. So it's really important for us to think about meeting the needs of seniors and keeping seniors in our state. Next slide. So now we go to, what do older adults want? Well, if you ask any older adult what they want as they age, the number one answer is always, I want to stay in my home as long as possible. And what does that mean? It means that we have to be able to afford our home. We have to be able to get around. We have to be in physical good shape to get in and out of our home. If you live in Anchorage, or in Alaska for that matter, stairs are typically a part of the typical home. So those are all important things to think about. You have to keep your mind healthy so that you can make decisions and live independently. The second thing that older adults want is to be close to family or friends. And then the last thing that comes out is having something meaningful to do. Next slide. So the first question we want to ask is Anchorage an age-friendly community? Well, there are several things. These are all pictures taken around Anchorage. Are there adequate volunteer and social things that are meaningful for people to do? And we have the Anchorage Senior Center in that first picture in the corner. Are there places to go outside, places to exercise, fun things to do outside? And there you can see a picture of Folker Park, which was created with the help of the community and the seniors that live at the Providence Horizon House. And they planted all those beautiful flowers and made a walking path out of a vacant lot. Is there adequate access to healthcare services? We always hear about this when we do listening sessions and we talk with folks. You know, the biggest issue being, are there enough Medicare providers in Anchorage if you're on Medicare? Then we also talk about, is there affordable housing? Are there varied types of housing? What kind of things can we do to improve housing that's accessible for seniors, that is affordable for seniors? This is one of the new Cook Inlet tribal housing complexes. And then the last thing really looking at is, are there ways to remain mobile once you can no longer drive? And this is a big deal because it really is a turning point for a lot of folks who have to leave their home once they can no longer drive. And so this is a picture of Anchorage. Sorry, I spaced the name. All right, and now I'm going to pass it off to Madeline. Next slide.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Teresa. I'm going to share with you a little bit about the network of age-friendly states and communities. The map you see on the left, throughout the United States and our territories, there are over 500 age-friendly communities. The map highlights towns and cities, counties and states in the AARP network of age-friendly states and communities. A search for Age-Friendly Network will bring up this map. You may click on any of the circles in the map to learn of a city or state in that area that it has become a member of the AARP network of age-friendly communities. You may also find on that map, there are circles and then there are those little drop things. Those drop things represent the community challenge grants, which AARP awards yearly. Those grants are for a small bucket of money and asked to be completed in a short period of time. And we have, Alaska has received several community challenge grants. Anchorage has received some, Matsu Valley, Gustavus, New Halen, Kachemak Bay, and both urban and rural communities have applied for these grants and received them under the livability umbrella. Under that livability umbrella, cities can seek a designation as an age-friendly community. So when it comes to looking at the makeup of an age-friendly city, there are 8 domains of livability. Now we're looking at the right-hand side of the slide. And I'll quickly go through each of those. There's outdoor spaces and buildings. Those are public places, either indoor or outdoors. Green spaces and accessible buildings that can be used by people of all ages. See, I think you're sensing a theme about all ages. Outdoor, okay, then there's transportation. Driving shouldn't be the only way to get around. Sidewalks, bike lanes, public transit, shuttle components, they should all be a part of an age-friendly city and transportation options. Housing, older adults must be able to stay in their homes. Design modifications can be made, and accessibility and affordable housing is what we're looking at. This is part of the aging in place component of livability. Social participation is also another key to livability and an age-friendly community. This is the key to alleviating sadness and isolation, and it makes available, accessible, and affordable fun activities for folks. And another domain is respect and social inclusion, feeling valued, intergenerational gatherings to enhance young and old, who might therefore learn from each other. Work and civic engagement, another domain, encourages all to be actively involved in community life. Work that is paid or work that is volunteer. And then we have the last couple, communication and information is another domain. Sharing community information through a variety of ways. Make sure that your communication with the entire community can reach those that may not be tech savvy. And then community and health services, the final domain I'll mention, is that all persons must be able to access and afford simple needs and affordable health care. So the next slide. Okay, now the AgeFriendly Network designation is a multifaceted process. It's not something you just apply for and oops, there you are. You are somewhat socked in for a 5-year process. And there are steps for Anchorage to receive designation as an age-friendly city. We are striving currently for acceptance and membership enrollment in that umbrella of AARP, the AARP network of age-friendly states and communities. And our effort to become an age-friendly community begins with an AARP livable community membership application. The enrollment must also have an affirmation from Mayor Bronson in the form of a signed letter of commitment that he is on board for us to become an age-friendly city. By submitting the application letter from the mayor, we avow that we understand the need to conduct a community assessment, the need to develop and acquire approval of an action plan, then implementation of the plan. After the plan is in full force, then we will submit an annual best practice with periodic updates, ending in a 5-year progress report. So there's no cost for enrolling in the network of age-friendly communities. Our need from each of you on Facebook and listening with us in person is for you to be aware of where we're going to designate Anchorage as an age-friendly community. If you belong to an organization, perhaps a letter of support, or if someone you know is close to the mayor's office, somebody that might help us out. And so once we submit an application and a letter from the mayor, and we're accepted by the network of age-friendly communities, we are designated an age-friendly community. We then continue on the 5-year process. So we can call ourselves an age-friendly community once we are accepted into the network. And then the outreach work and the nitty-gritty work comes to the forefront. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mary Dean Broussard, and I don't know why I'm not showing. But okay, pretend it's me showing and you can look at Madeline, I guess.
Well, I see you.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
And
you
I
can.
see you. Okay, as long as you see me. So
Okay.
I think now we get to the fun part of this presentation, which is, what does it mean? What is a livable community? And what can we do to get Anchorage to be a more livable community? So I want to start off by having Katie play a very short video to show you some examples of what it means to be age-friendly.
No, press the button.
Come on, Katie, you're going to do
And
it.
guys, I'm going to need you to let me know if you can't hear it, okay?
AARP is working to make communities more livable for people of all ages. But what is a livable community? In a livable community, people of all ages can find housing that is comfortable and affordable. It is also a community where residents can get where they want and need to go, regardless of whether they own a car. It's a place where people can spend time in parks and public spaces that are vibrant, safe, and healthy, so they can socialize with their friends and participate in fun activities. A livable community ensures access to needed shopping and healthcare services. It's a place where people can work or volunteer and be included in community events and decision-making. So, what is a livable community? It's one where everyone can make their city, town, or neighborhood a lifelong home.
Thank you, Katie. Now we'll just watch it again. So what does age-friendly look like? I think those were absolutely great examples in the video and things that I think we can get to or have already done. So in an age-friendly community, you can go for a walk, you can cross the street safely, you can ride a bike, be entertained, as Teresa said, for a reasonable cost too. Get around without a car, live safely and comfortably, work or volunteer, find the services that you need, buy healthy food, and probably most important, make your city, town, or neighborhood a lifelong home. Next slide, please. So I wanted to share which I think is just an amazing example of a small project you can do that can really make a change. So on the left-hand side, we're looking at an alleyway, which happens to be in a downtown area of the city, not Anchorage. This is a city on the East Coast in the lower 48. And it was a pretty nondescript little alley. And with a little creativity and planning, they were able to turn it into something that I think is pretty spectacular. And I think somebody has set up some little shop right there, and it just gives people another place to go, or they can just sit and enjoy it. And I wanted to show that to you, to show you how simple the kinds of ideas can be that we can implement. So now let's take a look at what has Anchorage already done that make it more age-friendly. We have accessible buses, both Anchor Rides and People Mover. We have a yoga in the park program in the summertime. And we're involved in Vision Zero, which I believe is working towards getting the number of traffic deaths to zero. Can you correct me if I'm wrong about that, Teresa or Katie or Madeline? We do have First
Mary,
Friday.
that's correct.
Okay,
So
good.
Vision Zero is that we would have 0 pedestrian deaths.
Yeah, which in the past month, we certainly haven't been at that point, month or 2 months anyway. So we've got some work to do on that one. And we've got some ideas about that. We have First Friday art walks, numerous community gardens, and something that I think people just really enjoy doing and is very good for people. And lots of parks and trails. The 3 that we specify here, Fish Creek, Campbell Creek, and Chester Creek, I believe all have special accessible paths to them, and I'm not going to think of the word, interpretive explanations of what you're passing through to make it a more interesting and make it going to visit it an event. We also have the winter solstice tree walk at Kincaid Park. In the past, we've had, and will continue to have, I certainly hope, concerts and events in the park. And something called Fit Lot, which I can't explain, so I'll ask you to, Teresa.
Sorry, trying to get off mute. So AARP National Office sponsored a Fit Lot in every community. So our Fit Lot is a place to work out outdoors, just like you would go to the gym. It's got, you know, different exercises that you can do, lifting weights. Ours is over at Taku Park on the southwest side of the lake. And this summer we will be offering fitness classes at that fit park.
Okay. And feel free to put in chat any other age-friendly examples that you can think of that we already have in place in Anchorage. And Katie, I think we're ready for the next slide. And I'll turn it over back to you, Teresa.
So what we wanted to do tonight with the rest of our time was really to have people offer suggestions or ways that we could make Anchorage more friendly as we prepare to do our application. We are allowed to put some of that in the application. So you can either unmute yourself. If you don't know how to do that, if you go to participants and then you find your name and you click the microphone, you should see it red with a slash through it. You can unmute yourself. It says ask to unmute. Or you can put it in chat. I don't know if we have anybody who's interested in sharing, but we'll give it a few minutes. I see we have Jim Bailey online. Jim Bailey has also been working with us on this age-friendly leadership team. He is also the, I'm not sure if you're the chair or the president of the Anchorage Senior Advisory Commission. Jim,
Sure.
I don't know if you wanted to say something?
Yes.
Do you have any ideas you want to share?
I got two things I just wanted to have for you to clarify. One is, can we get is this presentation tonight on a link or something where we could share it or see it again?
Yes, so we will, in the next couple days, we will be sending to everyone who registered, we will send out a recording of this webinar and the PowerPoint so that you can share it with friends and they can watch the PowerPoint.
Okay, so in other words, we can share it with appropriate people and also I don't know if you heard me.
Share it with people and then we lost you, I think. So,
Oh, and post it on Facebook.
so it is being live streamed on Facebook. So it will already be on Facebook. So anyone who sees it on Facebook can
share it.
Can share
Yes.
it. Yep.
Yes. The other question is, my understanding, and maybe I'm incorrect, we need a champion, a main sponsor, or somebody to be the party nonprofit to basically be the voice of this application, or is that correct?
That is correct. It can be an individual or it can be someone who works at the municipality. It could be someone on the Anchorage Senior Citizens Advisory Commission. It could be somebody from the Anchorage Senior Center. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. I just wanted to say I really appreciate the good job that you did with the presentation and the different parts of it. I'm only disappointed that we didn't have more people see it. But I think if each of us that registered basically shared it with other people, then it can get out to more people. And because I think the more people that know about it, the better off we are as far as trying to get this in process.
Yes, yes. And the other really good news is that we have a meeting with the mayor next week, and we're hopeful that he will be on board with us.
Yeah.
Linda, did you want to say something?
Well, I tried to put something in the chat, but my chat says it's disabled.
Oh, bummer.
I'm not
Okay.
sure why. I could go ahead and just speak my
Sure.
couple concerns because I am wanting to stay in the community as I age. I love it up here in Alaska, but a couple concerns I observe with friends who can no longer drive. They try to do the anchor rides to go to activities. And that is, they can usually get a ride, but to me, it feels like it's not really as finely tuned as it could be, because those folks are given like a range of time, and so it's kind of unreliable if they'll make it to an event on time, or they'll make it to an event so early that they're left outside waiting, not left, but I mean, they'd have to be left outside a building waiting before anybody else shows up to get in. And with our weather, it just seems kind of chancy. I know when my mother was still living, she did get left at Providence near the Heart Center there because the anchor rides never came back for her. So the nice people working the car parking gave her a ride home eventually, which that was really kind that they helped her out. But to me, those kind of things are very discouraging. And the other part of it is the walkability. The walkability is terrific when our weather is decent. However, we have such a long winter, and I'm in pretty good shape. I don't have to use like a walker yet or a cane or have that sort of thing. So, but I can wear my little ice bug boots and get out and walk my dog. However, I'm very not wanting to fall because I've already had a couple broken bones from falling. And so it really concerns me because I even fear for myself, and I'm not what I would call frail yet. So I'm not sure how those kind of things can be addressed to the kind of the inclusion of so many seniors. You know, I mean, there's foci, I think, of places that are pretty well supported, but I just think if people are coming out of the community to attend things, there needs to be a little bit more beefing up of some sort of transportation system. And maybe it would have to be really senior focused. And I think Anchorage serves a lot of people, and that's not a bad thing. It's very good. But I'm almost thinking, I know the people I know, they're somewhat discouraged, and kind of Anchorage is their last resort. Not not really observed as something super user friendly. So anyway, sorry to take that much time, but to me, it's kind of a big deal.
Yes, yes. Linda, thank you so much for your comments. Transportation really is one of the top issues and really makes a difference. Once you can no longer drive, the quality of transportation that you can find makes a huge difference in your quality of life and where you can live and where you can stay. And so, you know, it's one of the main things that folks talk about on some of these age-friendly meetings. Once we join the age-friendly community or the age-friendly network, then we're able to hear what other groups are doing in other states. And I have listened to some of those, and you know, some of the solutions are simpler than you think, such as setting up a rideshare program or a volunteer rideshare program, or making policy changes with the current system that we have. Figuring out a way to, you know, utilize Ubers or cabs at a discounted rate. There's a whole lot of different things that we can look at. And so that'll be one of the things that we do after we get our application in, is we'll go around and do some focus groups at senior housing, at the senior center, to address some of those things. And I'm going to pass your next issue off to Madeline, because Madeline and Mary Dean are thinking about doing some walkability audits. And I know she had something to say about winter.
Yeah, thanks, Teresa. Hi, Linda. Yeah, Mary Dean and I have an idea to conduct a walkability audit around Anchorage. But, you know, we had the bright idea in our work with the age-friendly community. And we kind of realized that we definitely need to focus on a walk audit in the wintertime, as well as a walk audit in the summertime. And, you know, a couple of weeks ago, I was on the bus getting home, and I was able to take some photos of the horrific conditions around bus stops, sidewalks, and that was after, you know, some of the sidewalks were cleared, but there are major issues out there with walkability, and I think in the summertime, a walkability issue, we'll find out when we conduct the audit. But how many times have any of us been out trying to make, you know, cross an intersection, and you have people that are doing a right turn on red, and, you know, they could care less that you're going to cross right in front of them because they're too worried about making the next step around. And, you know, part of Vision Zero, I know we mentioned earlier, has a focus on that. But what we're looking at is, after we get this application in, then we'll be taking a survey, and I'm sure we'll hear your voice, your concerns voiced again in that kind of a setting. And then we have the data that we can drive our work with to move forward with, working with the transportation department of the city, working with the planning department of the city, and just ways to move off and forward looking that way. Yeah.
So I don't know if there's anybody else who wants to share.
I just wanted to mention that I was having the chat, mine was disabled for a while there too, so I was relieved that it wasn't just me. Thanks for speaking up on that. I
So
had to black out for
Teresa-
a bit and try to get some technical help from the household, but it looks like it's been, oh no, it does still say disabled.
Okay, thanks for letting us know, Dave.
Okay.
So we are collecting folks who are interested in this topic. So if you are interested in either joining our age-friendly leadership team, where we meet once a month, at least right now, we're meeting once a week to get the application done. Or if you just want to be kept in the loop, you can send me an email at tholt, so THOLT, oh, there it is, Katie, at AARP.org, and let me know if you're interested in being on the leadership team or volunteering for a walk audit or just providing input, and we will put you on our list. Any other questions or input?
I had one other question, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead,
Linda.
Linda.
Hi, does this include Eagle River, or is this mainly just like Anchorage City, not the entire bigger area?
So, well, when we do the application, it will include the entire municipality. So that would be Anchorage to Girdwood. But where we do projects, it will probably end up depending on where we have volunteers to help us come up with projects and work on ideas. So for example, you know, we might do a walk audit of downtown. But if somebody wants to do a walk audit of downtown Girdwood or downtown Eagle River, and talk to folks about making changes there, we can also do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, our application would cover the entire municipality from Eklutna to Girdwood. Yeah.
Can I add one point?
Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I think all of us realize there are a lot of areas where we have problems in getting to this position. I think the most important thing is for us to all think, wow, we'd love for our community to be working for progress in all of these areas. And so, I mean, we can look at the glass water half empty or half full type thing. And but the positive attitude of improvement might be able to sell this project to our whole community. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, in being on some of these age-friendly network meetings, the first year they suggest that you really pick some projects that are easy to do. So it might be something very similar to what Mary Dean showed us, where you just make an alleyway something nice, or you create a crosswalk that's more visible. So you have you maybe do it the first time with some chalk or something, but then you get the municipality to see that this more visible crosswalk really helps. You lengthen the time on the crosswalk. And at the same time, you can be talking and thinking about some of these bigger issues like transportation, because if transportation was easy to fix, it would already be fixed, right? But it doesn't mean that that's not something we can work on.
And I would add, Teresa, just, you know, we will probably, you know, should we attain our status as an age-friendly community, I'm sure we can bring, it would be imperative to have anchor rides at the table.
Mhm.
And, just kind of see exactly what their needs might be. And, if it has to do with something the council, the city council or mayor can help with, or, just to see what their story is, how do they explain, is it economics? Is it convenience, or exactly, yeah, we know older folks have time, but time is valuable to even them. Yep.
Right, right.
Yep.
And we do have several groups that are on board with us, the Chamber, the Downtown Partnership, the Anchorage Economic Development Corporation. So it's not just going to be individuals, but we'll pull together both those private and public partnerships along with senior groups to make things happen. And that's where groups have really been successful. You might be working with a municipal employee and we write a grant to get money to change something. We might come up with a project that can be funded through our community challenge grants, and that could make a difference. A nonprofit could apply for that and they could do a project that's going to make a difference.
And I would foresee looking at the traffic department too, and looking at all the crosswalks we have in the city, and see if folks who are a little slower have enough time to cross the street, to cross those 6 lanes or 8 lanes of traffic, however long.
And now that you said that, Madeline, I can share one of my favorite stories. That we had a presentation with a wonderful man who's done this kind of work for quite a while. And he showed us how in Singapore, they actually have implemented something where people who do need more time to get across the street in a crosswalk can actually extend the time when they push the button to activate the crosswalk. They have a special card that they can also pass to increase the amount of time to what they need to get across. And it's elderly, but it's not just elderly. It's disabled. It might be a mom with her 3 kids trying to get across. It can be beneficial to all kinds of people and bring us closer to Vision Zero, reducing those horrific pedestrian fatalities that happen. So now that kind of project would probably not fall under the quick and dirty, but maybe there is something that we can do to, be able to do something on a real busy crosswalk. Yes, the wonderful man is Gil Penaloza. Thank you, Katie. And he actually, where did I see? Somewhere on the AARP Livable, there's actually about an hour-long video of Gil Penaloza talking about what it means to be a livable community that works for people from 8 to 80. And it is well worth your time to watch that.
So Katie put it in the chat that if you go to AARP AK on Facebook and check in events, you can find the Gil Penaloza video.
Oh, you videoed the 3 that we did?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know you did.
So anything else people want to talk about before we sign off? Well, we really appreciate those of you who came tonight. We hope you'll stay interested in this topic, and just shoot me an email. Let me know that you're interested, and we'll keep you apprised as we move along. Or if you want to join our team, we're always looking for volunteers to help us through this path. So thanks so much for your attendance tonight. I'm having a sun issue. All right.
That's okay. A sun issue is good.
Yes. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Very informative. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.